Hi, Michael Chambers here again. Been working hard this weekend. So I suggest here's a bit of an off-beam idea for dealing with Opus Dei. Okay, dealing with Opus Dei. One way of dealing with it is to basically for everybody who realizes how corrupt the Opus Dei are, how corrupt they're making the whole church, and basically how they can't help certain people because Opus Dei act in a certain way, the structure, the leaders act in a certain way, which makes it impossible for other people to help the victims inside Opus Dei. Okay, so you've got this terrible situation where a bishop finds it really hard to go in search of the lost sheep inside Opus Dei. It's kind of no-go zone. Okay, it doesn't get any better with time. And if your bishop can't rescue a lost sheep in his church, okay, well, what is that church? Okay, is it the true church, or is it somehow become fake because you've got an organization in it that's stopping the rescue? Okay, so imagine that in the gospel story that shepherd went in search of the lost sheep, and there was this wolf there, which is like completely harassing that bishop, that shepherd, relentlessly, 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 endless. No, it just you couldn't get near them. You couldn't even see them. You've got some sort of wolf in the way. That's harassing them beyond belief. What does that wolf? What does that bishop do? Well, what that shepherd do? Well, understandably, gives up. Okay, but is he still a bishop then? Well, no, unfortunately, because a bishop has to lay down their life for their sheep. So they actually have to go into the fray. They have to go into the wolves and keep going. Keep going until they get to the rescue person, or they die in the process. It's that drastic, and that's people do when they give up their lives for their country, or policemen willing to put their lives in danger for people, and firefighters and ambulance people and all sorts of people are willing to put themselves on the line, even at the cost of their lives. Okay, and sometimes they'll die the first time they try, and sometimes they'll live their whole life, and there's no right or wrong there. It's not. It's just being willing, isn't it? It's being willing to lay you down your life. So if you realize that you're not willing to go into the fray, okay, well, what can you do? We still want to rescue them, but we don't know how to go through the wolves. So here's a cunning plan. Okay, I'm sure this won't happen, but it's worth a try. Basically, leave the church, but then declare yourself loyal to the Pope in a new way, a different institution. So set up a new institution which Opus Dei can't join. You're never going to let anybody from Opus Dei near this institution, okay? And suddenly go over on block, en masse. It seems like a schism. It seemed like a schism first, a schismatic organization. But after a time, people might start to realize this is the way forward. This is what you can do. Get out of the Catholic Church because Opus Dei won't get out of it, and set up a new church and declare yourself loyal to the Pope. Okay, and in the end, all you've got is an organization that's unofficially affiliated to the Pope, and the only thing left in the original Catholic Church is the Pope and Opus Dei. Okay, so at that point, the Pope might think, you know what, I've had enough of being a church just leading Opus Dei on its own. I might just pop over and join that church and say, look, you were the true church all along. Sorry, I think, but it will have to be that in that order. But here's a thing, okay? Before you if as you transition away to this new church, make sure that you make the original church, the Church of Opus Dei, okay, as as much Opus Dei as they want, okay? Ask them how can we make this church better? Okay, oh, good, we've got an ally, okay, to protect us in the church, okay, and make that church more and more and more and more Opus Dei, okay, and then at a certain point you're ready, pop over to the free church, the free Catholic Church, okay, and if everybody does that, all the people in authority in the Catholic Church do that slowly, pop over to the new free Catholic Church after having tied up the original Catholic Church in more and more bureaucracy and more iron rule, enforcing strong morality on people, that sort of thing, being cunning and whatever. Then you've got a worse church. Church of Opus Dei is going to be worse and worse and worse, and hopefully the people in Opus Dei will eventually think, you know what, we've had enough of this. We'll go over to the free church as well. But at that point, you can set your terms. You can set your terms, saying, look, no, we want to see what you're like really first. We want to help you. we're not going to let you go over in a block. You know, we're going to sort ourselves out first, and you'll be very careful about letting any of you back in. Um, so so that's the way to do it. Okay, declare independence. It's a bit like, I don't know. I'm something I think of a political equivalent. You know, so it's like, imagine having one state in the USA. There's 50 states. You have one state that's basically making everybody else's life an utter misery. Okay, and it won't give up, and nobody's happy. So eventually, each of those other 49 states declare independence from the USA and eventually form a different free USA, you know, completely surrounding the original USA. So that's probably happened with in different countries at different times. Anyway, it would need a lot of planning, and it would make a lot of it would save a lot of hassle for a lot of people. But anyway, the campaign goes on. Thank you for listening.